it's time. We have to get these peppers harvested. I've waited as long as possible. It has gotten so cold here in Michigan. I actually had to tuck them in and put a little blankie on them for the last week or so. But it's actually going to warm up a little bit. We're running out of time. These things are ripe. There's some that are in there that are still not quite ripe. We're going to leave those go. But today we're making our hot Reaper sauce. So today we're doing multiple things. One, we're going to do our taste test. Which version is hotter? Mine or the store-bought seeds that we got back in the spring? Two, which plant yields more? Is it a plant of mine or a plant from the seeds we got in the spring? And three, we have got to make our sauce today. It's super simple, really easy. Anybody can do it. Not very many ingredients and not a lot of work really. So we're gonna get going on this stuff. First, I am gonna take the blankie off these peppers so we can get to them and start harvesting. So my plan is to put this row cover back on our peppers for at least the weekend. So we're just gonna kind of pick this row cover up and lay it over so we can get to our peppers. These peppers look wicked, let me tell you. They are gonna be some hot peppers. So what we did in the spring is I made little notes here. So I got seed and we started them in the house from Pepper Joe, and I also started some of my own seed. And these are all Reaper seeds. And I wanted to know, can you take a Reaper pepper from the year before and use the seeds and get Reaper peppers the next year? And technically you're not supposed to because it's a hybrid, right? But I don't know. That's why we're doing the test, to find out. So what we're gonna do, I have 2 buckets. I got 1 bucket for Pepper Joe plants and 1 bucket for Gagne Farms plants. Now, not only do I wanna see if each one is just as hot as the other, but I also wanna see, did one plant yield more than the other? So we're gonna weigh these out. That's why I've got the exact same buckets down here. We're gonna weigh them, we're gonna taste test them, and then it's sauce time. A couple quick things I would really recommend for you guys, because I've done this before, but is use a pair of pruners or scissors to clip your peppers off the vine. And the other is pretty much a must, but you have to have some kind of gloves. I've just got some soft gloves here that I'm gonna use to pick when we go to make our sauce. I have some food grade gloves that we're gonna use then, but just to get them off the vine into the bucket, you gotta have something. You don't want the oils on your hands. Don't try to be a tough guy or a tough girl. Just don't do it. Trust me, it's not worth it. If you get this stuff on your fingers, go to wipe your eye or something, it can really cause some damage. So please use something, use a glove, something. And also don't try to clip them with your fingers. I know some peppers, like a jalapeno, you can just pull or pinch the stem. Don't do that with these. Just clip them. Trust me, it's much more better that way. Also today, we're gonna use a few of our jalapenos just to give her a little flavor with our sauce. And we are also going to use our red bell peppers. So we've got quite a few of these guys that are ready to go too. We're going to get those all picked out and get those washed up, and we're going to put those into our sauce. We're also going to incorporate our onions into our sauce and some garlic. I've got a full recipe I will share with you guys. I'm going to show you the whole process. Super easy. It's a blast to do. You'll have fun with it. Give it a shot. First, we're going to go through and pick all the Pepper Joe plants. I am not going to pick the green ones. Like I said, I'm going to give those a couple more days to ripen on the vine as best as I can. We've got another warm stretch coming. Guys, it's going to be 80 degrees in a few days again. It's crazy. We've been having freeze warnings at night. We had frost the last 2 nights, and now we're going back up to 80 degrees during the day. So it's kind of a crazy weather pattern. I enjoy it because I get to extend my growing season. But some of these plants, we are also going to try to overwinter in the house. So I'm going to leave some of these green peppers on there, and then we'll get to enjoy them throughout the winter. Let's get to picking these Pepper Joe peppers. That right there, guys, is one plant, Pepper Joe. We're gonna continue down this row. We're gonna pick these peppers up, and we'll go up and weigh them for you. We got our peppers picked here, and you might see a few extra peppers here, and I'll explain why in just a minute, but I wanted to show you something first. If we back up here a little bit, these were all primarily in the same vicinity, so they've got about the same amount of sunlight, the same amount of water, same amount of fertilizer. I was trying to keep this as scientific as I could, but if you can see here, from right about there to there is the Gagne Farms Reaper peppers. From here to over here is mostly Pepper Joe peppers. Can you see a difference? The leaves are yellowing a little bit more over here, and this is a lot greener, flusher plant right here. Now, it's kind of funny what happened. This would be the most unscientific part of the growing process. I started my seeds about 3 or 4 weeks sooner than the Pepper Joe seeds. So when I started mine, I kind of got the idea I wanted to do the test with a brand new seed and my seed to kind of do some comparisons. My seed actually is a little bit, my plants are a little bit older. So there is that. But as you can see, the Pepper Joe plants are actually a little bit bigger, if you ask me. And when we started these and got them in the ground, my plants were actually bigger going into the ground in the spring than the Pepper Joes were, but they took off fine. I don't know if my plants got stunted a little bit or not. It's hard to say. We're gonna take our 2 buckets of peppers here into the pole barn, and we're gonna put them on a scale, and we're gonna start testing these peppers. We're gonna do a little taste test. We're gonna weigh them up, and I'm gonna kind of tell you guys what I'm thinking is going on here with these peppers. Let's go. We got our scale set up here. We've got both of our Reaper peppers here, and we're gonna weigh these guys out. And I wanna kind of explain what I think is going on. But let's weigh these guys out. This right here is the Pepper Joe peppers. I know I'm weighing the container. I'm not really concerned about how many pounds of Reapers I get. Trying just to see which one of these weighs more, the Gagne Farms peppers or the Pepper Joe seeds. So here we go. We are at 3.75 pounds. All right, let's try the Gagne Farms. We are at 2.3 pounds. Big difference. Okay, couple things. Let's go over this. If you can see, this is Gagne Farms here. Not as many peppers. Same amount of plants in each container. This container is full of peppers. There's 5 times the amount of peppers in the Pepper Joe as there are over in the Gagne Farms. The Gagne Farms ones also are quite a bit smaller, I would say. These are some of the sizes. Most of the Pepper Joes over here, well, except for that green one. Most of the Pepper Joes, there's a little one there, but most of these are a lot bigger pepper. So what I did out in the garden, I had 6 of my own plants. So six plants that made it through the growing season and bear fruit for us. So I picked 6 of the Pepper Joes. I didn't pick the biggest plants or the smallest plants. I didn't get that involved. I just picked 6 plants that were in front of me, and then my 6, and this is what we ended up with. So very telling that Gagne Farm seeds did not yield the size or the quantity that a new Pepper Joe seed actually yielded for us. So that's a big difference, and that's what I want to know. Is it worth my time to, be messing around with saving seeds, drying seeds, planting them? Am I getting a better yield, a worse yield? And obviously right now, this is a pretty good conclusion that this is a lot worse yield, a lot worse fruit. I mean, the fruit is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Just far less here than over here. The other thing with the Pepper Joe seeds is I actually have about 5, 6 more plants out in the garden that I have not picked yet. because I wanted to do the same quantity of plant in each container to make it a fair comparison here. So I'm actually going to go back out right now and pick the rest of the Pepper Joe peppers out there and add them to this so we can start with our hot sauce. Once I get all that picked, we are going to do a taste test. I'm going to test one of the Pepper Joes against one of the Gagne Farms. The other thing I want to know is the heat level different between a Gagne Farms Reaper seed or a Pepper Joe? I got a sneaky suspicion that, well, we'll just save that for the taste test. All right, let's go get the rest of these peppers picked. This is fun. I love doing stuff like this. So I got the other Reaper peppers picked. I did not pick the plants clean. Not as clean as I picked them the first time for weighing. Reason is I'm gonna probably take some into work and see if I can give some away to some friends, because that's a lot of Reapers if you hadn't seen. So, all right, now the next step, I'm gonna show you guys how many extra Reapers that I had just picked to put into our hot sauce. But first I'm gonna go through and get our red peppers and the few jalapenos that I'm gonna put in with this recipe as well. This is the portion of the experiment that we've gotta try the heat level. And the only way I know how to do that is to do an old-fashioned taste test. So this spot from here on out, we need to start wearing some gloves. We don't want this to touch this stuff at all. I'm not gonna eat a whole pepper, okay? I do eat a lot of these Reapers. I eat a lot of Reaper sauce, but I'm not eating a whole pepper. We're gonna take a little piece off of each one. All right, so this is a Gagne Farms pepper right here. I'm gonna try to grab one about the same size, Pepper Joe, same color, same size, Pepper Joe. All right, we're doing it. So I've had quite a bit of these Reapers, and I know how much I can handle off of a new Reaper, and that's what I'm taste testing. Whoopsies. So this is Gagne Farms Reaper. I'm not trying to kill myself here. I'm trying to get a heat level and see if one pepper is way hotter or way not hotter than the other. And I'll tell you right now, that Gagne Farms Reaper pepper right there has got some heat to it for sure. I don't notice anything over what a normal Reaper would be. I mean, it tastes like any other Reaper I've had. It's not cooler than it doesn't taste like a habanero or a ghost pepper or something like that. It tastes like a Reaper pepper. So I say this Gagne Farms Reaper right here is got all that you're gonna want to handle right there for sure. And I just took a little sliver. You probably couldn't even see it on the camera this far away, but all right. We're gonna try to clear the palate here a little bit. No joke, that was hot. I had to take a few minutes, let my palate kind of cool off, and I want to get a kind of a good idea how the Pepper Joe pepper is gonna do here. I'm gonna try to do about the same size of piece that I just had with the Gagne Farms one. Roughly the same size. Wish me luck, boys and girls. Yeah, that's got some heat to it as well. I like the earthiness to it almost of both flavors or both peppers are really good like that. That's definitely hot. I would not say one is hotter than the other. I think they are both equally fire. They are hot. Oh, that's so good. The other thing that I really like about the Reaper is it does get hot and your mouth burns, but it goes away. It does not stay with you all day long or for hours and hours or whatever. You'll get a nice hot flavor to it, and then 5 minutes later, you're good to go. So, all right, that being said, these are two awesome peppers right here. Note, I did not eat the seeds in this taste test. I just took a piece of the flesh on it. So, very good. Now, for the rest of the entirety of this recipe, making this sauce,
You noticed I'm outside right now, okay? You definitely want to be outside. You can't be mixing this stuff up indoors. If you had a garage that you had the door open or something, you know, you want plenty of ventilation, you want gloves, and you want some eye protection too. You don't want anything splashing up on your face. Don't touch yourself. So when you get started in this, you know, don't be rubbing your face or going to the bathroom or, you know, itching your hair or anything. You want to just stay off, do the task at hand. Don't want to spread any of those oils on you at all. Okay, that's hot, and that's hot. I am glad that we've got 2 hot peppers right here. So we're gonna get going on this recipe. There's a couple steps for it. It's really easy. There's not a whole lot involved here. The only thing that is going to be involved, that is hot. Holy cow. The only thing that's going to be a little bit more involved for me here is the amount that I'm doing. There's quite a bit here. So this is going to take me multiple batches to run through here to get done. I'll try to get a comprehensive view for you guys of what I'm doing here. You can try it yourself. You know, if you don't like the Reaper pepper, you want to try a ghost pepper or a habanero, or even make this out of jalapeno peppers. It's basically the same thing. A jalapeno is going to be more like a verde type, but it's the same thing. You can put whatever heat level pepper that you guys want into it, okay? So don't by any means feel obligated to just use Reapers. That's just what I like to use. All right, let's make some sauce. Oh, now for the sauce. Once you start cutting these guys open, it's going to put all those oils out in the air. Trust me, you guys got to do this outside. All we're doing is cutting the stems off of these guys, okay? So I just got a little compost bucket here. And I typically don't even compost them. I usually just throw them out in the woods and bury it or something because I don't want any animals getting to it. So what I've done here as well is I put just some water in these buckets. Just kind of wash any dirt or dust off of these peppers as I can. I'm probably not going to use all these peppers, I'm not going to lie. That's a lot of peppers for even a recipe for myself. There's a point where you get just, it's not going to get any hotter, you know. So we're going to cut all these stems here, and then we're going to get to step deuce. Like I say, when you start cutting these, you're going to start smelling this. So that's why I have the eye protection on right now. You're going to need it. Like I said before, don't try to play a hero. There's no point. This is some nasty stuff you're dealing with. It can really hurt you if you're not careful, and I'm not joking, okay? So please, take some precautions. We got our Reapers all destemmed here. That's about half. I'm going to have to make 2 batches. I don't have pots big enough here to put all of this together, so we're just going to make 2 big batches, and that's fine. Now I've got some red peppers here just washed off from the garden, and we're just going to chunk these up into bigger size pieces. Now we just got a couple medium-sized onions here from out of the garden as well. And we've got a few heads of garlic. And what we're doing, we're just getting this stuff into small enough pieces that we can put in the food processor. So we're gonna start processing all this up real quick and making that delicious Reaper sauce. I use this Reaper sauce on just about everything. The flavor goes with anything. It's just incredible. Okay, and we got just a couple heads of garlic here. Now we've gotten to the fun part. We got all our ingredients cut up. I got my peppers, got my Reapers, I got my onion and my garlic, and we are going to blend all this in our food processor. And what I typically do is kind of take a few handfuls of each, and obviously you have to do many batches in the food processor before you can get through all this. We're trying to get this chunked up as, I mean, it doesn't have to be puree, but you want to get it pretty broken down. Once we get that, we're going to take it from our food processor and put it into our stock pot. From there, we will add our vinegar to it and get it cooking. We're going to cook it down just a little bit, get some of that initial water off of the sauce. Otherwise, you'll just have a jar full of half water and half sauce. So let's get chopping. Let's get making some of this sauce. Hey, one other thing too. I wanted to tell you guys while I was preparing all this stuff, we are going to do another method of hot sauce product here. After we get done with the sauce, we're going to take some of that stuff and we're going to make something else out of it. Stick around and I will show you guys how to do that. It's super simple as well. So let's get doing this sauce. Handful of these nice bell peppers, a couple chunks of onion, and a couple cloves of garlic. Now remember, make sure you got your gloves on. I know I've only got one glove on and one not glove on, but that's so I can kind of maneuver everything here. Make sure you got your eye protection on because I have had this stuff splatter up on us. Okay, let's pulse this down. Okay, now once that's all broken up like that, the aromatics are going to be completely outrageous. So make sure you're outside, well-ventilated room. I've got the lid on this guy so we can take it on and take it off. Obviously, we're out in the fall. The leaves are falling. It's a beautiful day out here. Whoa! Yeah, that's all there, guys. Oh, I need a spatula. Careful not to touch anything with your ungloved hand at this point. Here, let me see if I can show you too how it's pretty pureed. It's gonna make its own like liquid in there too. I love making this stuff. It's so fun. Get to do some experimenting and growing your own food. Everything that's going into this, besides the vinegar, I grew here on Gagne Farms, and that's the way I like to do things. Is as much self-sustainability as I can get with everything. That's what we're doing here. All right, so we're gonna continue till all the ingredients are blended up here, and then we're gonna get this guy going on the burner. We're gonna get some vinegar in it, and then we're gonna get it on the burner. Hey, you guys like my shirt? Give Candace a big thumbs up here. It was her idea. We got all of our ingredients chopped up in the food processor. Now we're gonna add our vinegar. And for this amount, I'm gonna add about a pint or so of vinegar. It might be just a little bit more than that. I would say the ratio is about a quart to every 2 quarts of peppers that you have blended up. Now, you could taste this later, so don't put too much in. We're not gonna cook all this off either. If it tastes too vinegary, you can always put some water in it. If it's not vinegary enough, you can always put a little bit more in there. You can put a little water in it if you'd like, but we're also trying to cook this down just a buzz too, so you don't have a super liquidy sauce. Now, if you guys like that type, by all means go for it, and you can just take this right here and strain it and bottle it up. I've done that before. This time I'm gonna heat it up and cook it down just a fuzz, and then we're gonna strain this out. We're gonna bottle it up. I'll show you how I do that. It's pretty easy. You don't have to get super crazy on it, but we're gonna get this guy on the heat and get it cooking. Now you wanna watch your heat with that. You don't wanna scald anything to the bottom of that pan, okay? So if you get too hot, you're gonna have an off flavor to that. It's gonna taste burnt. So just get it heated up, get it to a low simmer. Don't do this in the house, I'm telling you. Use a turkey fryer, use your grill. Worst case, dig a hole and build a fire right in the hole. Put your pan over top of that, but don't do it in the house, okay? We're gonna let this heat up, we're gonna strain it, we're gonna bottle it. We're gonna take that byproduct and make another hot seasoning for you. While that pot is heating up, I'm gonna start cutting up all the other peppers and the ingredients for the second batch. I wanna keep this process rolling. It doesn't take very long. I just wanna keep going while this is not, sitting here heating up. I don't wanna not be doing anything so I can get my mess cleaned up and we can be ready to bottle. This stuff is done. We're taking it off the heat here. And I'm gonna give it just a minute with the lid off to get some of that aroma out of there, because if you get that up in your face, it's gonna hurt. So now we're down to the final stages. Beautiful looking sauce. Beautiful. All right, now pretty easy process here. We're gonna ladle our mixture into another bowl with just a strainer on it. We're gonna try to strain any of that pulp out of there. Now, in the same hand, we want to save that, so we need another container to put the pulp into. Pulp container, strainer, And set that guy right there. Just ladle our mixture in. We're trying to get that juice out of there. So it should be streaming out just like that. This is going to take a minute because, I mean, we're straining something. Beautiful. Beautiful. Typically what I do is I take a spatula once it gets drained out pretty good, and then kind of just start mushing it or mashing it to the outside of the strainer. Get all that juice out of there, all that flavor, all the peppers. You want all that stuff in there. What we're going to be left with is just a thick paste with hopefully little to no moisture in it left. Once we get all this paste, so it's basically like, I don't know, you'll be able to tell once all the moisture's out of it that you're going to get out of it, out of the strainer. Don't throw this paste away, okay? That's what the bowl's for. So we're going to take this paste, put it in this bowl, and we're going to come back to that in a minute. So just keep ladling your mixture in and getting the sauce off. We've got all our contents strained out. We've got our pulp in one bowl, our sauce in another bowl. Now, all we got to do is bottle that guy up. So with these hot sauce bottles, you got to have a little funnel. And I know it's going to take a second, so we got a little stopper here. Put our stopper on, our cap. And there you go. That's one nice looking bottle of hot sauce right there. If you want to put a label on it, you can. Put a little shrink wrap on the top. Fantastic bottle of hot sauce. We're going to continue filling the rest of these bottles up here, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with the rest of this paste. For this batch here, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I've never done this before. I'm going to add a pint of our homemade tomato sauce. I'm hoping it gives it a little more of a taco sauce type of flavor. That's the idea anyways. But we're going to add this pint in right now. We're going to cook that down with it. So this is our second batch here. It's really looking good. We're going to get this heating up on the turkey fryer. While our second batch is heating up and getting all incorporated here, I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do with that pulp. So we've got just a regular dehydrator here. You can use any dehydrator you want as long as you do this outside. I've got this whole pole barn here. I'm going to let this go for 24 hours. At night when it's all shut up, it's going to get very aromatic in there. You're gonna walk in and it's gonna hit you right in the face. So you guys got to make sure to do this in a spot where it's not inside or there's nobody around for at least 24 hours, because this stuff does take a full 24 hours. All right. Oh, one other thing. Candace hates it when I use her dehydrator like this, but I really like the Reaper powder. So we've got these little screens like this, and you would think that it drips all over the place. It does not. We're just going to take pulp here, and we're going to spread it on, and we're going to try to get a nice, even layer all around. So we're going to take this and just spread it out like this is almost the consistency of pancake batter, I would say, something close to that. And you just want to keep it even. If you get really thin spots, it's going to dry out faster in that area. So it's better just to keep a nice thin layer. This is going to take the full 24 hours, if not maybe a little longer. What you're looking for when this is all done is this will be hard, just like a brick. You can peel it off that screen fairly easy. It's not that hard. Once we get this pulp all dried out, what we do is take our food processor and we'll chip this up into pieces that'll fit in the processor, and we're going to blend that up and we're going to turn it into dust. Now, I have to caution again, when you turn this stuff into dust, it will go in the air. A few tips for you: if it once you're done blending in the food processor, let it set, okay? Because there's going to be a whole bunch of dust floating in that. If you take the lid off of the food processor too quick, it's going to go up in the air and it's going to go in your lungs and in your eyes. So at that step, you need to have a respirator on, not lying. And you have to have it outside. I will do it right here with all the barn doors open, right out in the open wild, and I'll have a respirator on, gloves on, eye protection on and stay away from it. But you're going to want to get a big container to put this in. So you're going to need a bigger funnel than what you've been using to fill the sauce bottles. Get a good funnel, like a shaker can that you're going to want to put this in, and then dump that in there very carefully, put the lid on, and get away. When you go to clean this stuff up, even with the sauce, with like the food processor, I take it outside, I spray everything down the best I can, I soap it up out here the best I can. I will then take it back inside and wash it again, because there are so many oils in this Reaper pepper that it will stay with your equipment. So typically with a sheet like this, I will throw it away after I make Reaper powder on it, because you can actually taste the Reaper in these little sheets here afterwards. Even if you wash them, doesn't matter. We're bottling up our last batch here, and this has went excellent. So I want to caution you guys, if you go to make the Reaper powder, it's not anything to mess around with. It is hotter than the hot sauce. This hot sauce is the hottest hot sauce that I've ever had, and that Reaper powder is by far hotter than this hot sauce. So you have to be real careful with it. Main reason, all the seeds and everything is in the paste. So once you make your powder, that's where the real hot comes from. I think we successfully grew Carolina Reapers from seed from the year before. Them Reapers that I had tested, they were Reapers. They were super hot. They were just as hot, if not hotter, than the Pepper Joe Reapers. But on the downside, the plants are smaller, way less yield, smaller fruit. So that's the disadvantage of doing it yourself. Now, I had zero cost into the seeds for my Reaper plants. But I think that's a small price to pay for all of the missed opportunities of the fruit that you're getting off of a fresh seed than you are trying to save your own seeds on this. So I think what it was $10 or $12 for a pack of 10 seeds from Pepper Joe's. And I believe next year I'm just going to spend the $10. You don't need 50 plants of Reapers. You're not going to do anything with all that peppers. Spend the $10, get a fresh seed. The germination was probably 95% on those, and I think it's just well worth it rather than try to save $10. I mean, come on, are you going to save $10 or are you going to get quadruple the fruit, off of the plant? So that's my recommendation. That's what I'm going to do next year. I had a super fun time trying all this and trying different things and seeing if we could actually get a Reaper to grow from a year-old seed like that, and we were successful. So there's that. We did a little bit of comparison. We had some hot seeds. We had some hot peppers. We had some really good germination. We had some good plant starts out here. I had a great time all year starting all this. We started these seeds back in January. So we are 10 months into growing this fruit right here and making this sauce. So you guys, I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed some of the videos that I've made on this throughout the year with doing the peppers and the sauce. And I encourage you to try it yourself. If you ever wanted to give it a shot, hey, $10 is a small price to pay to have a delicious batch of your own hot sauce. Thanks again, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.